The Garden Report is powered by Prize Picks, the exclusive daily fantasy partner of the CLNS Media Network.
Hey, Bobby Manning here. Welcome to an off-day edition of The Garden Report in Dallas.
I made it, guys.
Josue Pavon has made it.
What's going on?
No Delzell back from practice. Game 3 getting underway in just about 24 hours from now. 8:30 Eastern. Celtics, Mavs going at it again. Game 3 here in Dallas as the series switches sides, and a major development in this series happened in Game 2 with Kristaps Porzingis' second half injury. Noah and I talked about it a little bit earlier, Josue, but a ridiculous injury. I'll try to read it off here. Let's see what it says.
No, don't mess this up, Bobby. I hope you've been practicing.
This is a... Ooh. Let's see if I can find this.
Oh, I thought it was because you just saw the words.
I thought it... Yeah.
I watched you open the wrong thing.
Let's see. Hold on. I gotta get this
Bobby,
right.
Don't check your messages right now.
What's
going on?
We got a torn medial rentin... I give up already.
You did a lot better.
Bobby he was never pre-med.
Torn medial retinaculum.
No, you crushed it before. What's going on?
Dislocation of the posterior tibialis tendon.
Tibialis, yeah.
I think the only important thing is that this means absolutely nothing to anybody unless you're like an orthopedic foot doctor.
Pretty much.
Are you worried?
A little bit. I mean, look, going into the series, what did I say? I felt like the best of Kristaps was going to be on the front end. It was going to like kind of teeter off, but I didn't know it was going to be this early. But I don't. Can the Celtics team beat this team without him? Yes. So I'm not worried. But by the look on your face, I guess you are a little bit. It does make the Celtics less challenging, if that makes sense. I think guys have to step up, obviously, in terms of defending. You know, the way the Dallas Mavericks have struggled to find their offense. I think maybe it's a little bit easier when you don't have someone like that in the middle or someone like that as a scoring threat, you know, on the other end. But at the same time, if you're the Boston Celtics, man, like I don't think this closes the talent gap, right? I still think it's the series is still in your favor, but again, it's going to be harder.
What are you thinking?
Yeah, first of all, earlier today, I didn't think he was going to play. And then seeing just the media tour that he's been on, talking about this injury, saying that he thinks he's going to, I think we're going to see him tomorrow. The question for me, and this has been my biggest concern with the soleus strain as well, is you don't want a Porzingis that can't move well. That is a huge liability. You don't want him on the court if he can be attacked. Like, you're better off having Luke Cornett come in and more Al Horford.
No, you like that one.
More Al Horford minutes. Like, you're better off.
Who knew we'd see Luke in the finals?
I know. I said today when I was live on YouTube, I think we could see Luke Cornett. People did not like that in the comments.
Wow.
Live time.
Well,
immediate backlash.
It means something like this happened, right?
Yeah.
Something bad happened in the sense of Kristaps not available anymore. So I think that's when you see Luke, and I can understand the outburst out of Celtics fans. But sorry, go ahead.
There should not be an outburst. But that being said, I think you're right that the Celtics are a lot better with him. The numbers show that. They're plus 25 in the series with him on the floor.
27, yeah.
27. I keep hearing different numbers. It's
amazing the discrepancy.
Okay,
yeah.
27. And then it's even when he's sitting. So you can't deny his impact. And it matches the eye test. It's not one of those weird plus minuses where you're not sure if this is legit. Like, it matches what we've seen. Right. He's come over and he's impacted the game. That being said, they're up 2-0. They have a little bit of a cushion. And I don't think they've played as well as they can. The problem is that I don't think Dallas has either. And so... Yeah. It decreases their chances of each of these games. Like, I still think they're the favorite to win Game 3. I know that the odds are not, but I still have confidence that they're going to pull this off. But a little bit less than you would if he was healthy. That's kind of it. Right. That's how I see it.
And shooting's key, right, guys? I mean, if the Celtics start shooting the way, when they're at their best, then they're very difficult to beat, especially against the Mavericks. They're not great at defending the three-point line. But that wasn't the case in Game 2, right? Like, they didn't shoot necessarily. They weren't spectacular.
25%.
It was just executing. It was just breaking the team down the way they did. And they did that without Kristaps. Remember? At the end of the third quarter, the injury happened. In the fourth, he wasn't there. So, clearly the Celtics can pull it off. But, yeah, I mean, different environment. Obviously, the Dallas Mavericks are much more desperate now. They're back at their home. They kind of they sense that vulnerability. So, I think that definitely helps and works in Dallas's favor for sure.
So here's the problem. Whether he's out or whether he's extremely limited, it does sound like he'll be limited if he even is able to go here, given the injury. It's going to require surgery down the line. Is
that confirmed? We're sure about that?
I think numerous of the medical opinions and Gary's report especially pointed that out being inevitable down the line. So does that happen sooner, later. I think he'll just try to get out as much of the series as he can, but he was already at 20, 25 minutes, right, with the other injury. So this brings him down to what, 5, 10, 15 at that point. So that's just 35, 40 of Horford that you need if you're not going to go to a Cornet, if you're not going to go to a Tillman at that point. And so where this really kills is that he's changed the dynamic of the court when he's been out there. Like, he's out at half court shooting those threes, pulling out Gafford, pulling out Lively. That's made a huge impact. And then defensively, he's back at the basket, pretty much taking that away from Dallas. So any minute that he's not out there doing that, the game just becomes a little bit harder for Boston at that point, because he is the one just freeing up the lane for Tatum to drive again and again and again. He's the one that's allowing them to defend and stay home the way they have on defense. So to me, this almost becomes a whole new series with Porzingis out. I know it's 2-0. I know the Celtics have that edge, and that gives them the advantage in this series. But Dallas can go into Game 3 now at home and say, we're good. We just got to take care of these games at home, and it's a new series again.
Well, it seals off the paint for sure. I mean, I don't think it'll be as easy for guys like Drew Holiday and Derek White, the way they've been getting those high percentage looks. So, yeah, that's a good point, Bobby. I mean, in the sense of how the team's going to execute, I think the Celtics going to have to, again, guys are going to have to step up. You know, guys are going to have to hit some shots. You know, I think shooting is big in this in this game especially. You know, if you're not going to have Kristaps, or he's not going to be, like you said, anywhere near that 20, 25-minute range, which probably doesn't happen. I think he does play. I think he's just someone that's going to have to, it's going to want to go get out there so badly, and maybe convinces the medical staff. And I don't know.
This is the bad
thing is that he might get, it might be, maybe it's the last time or one of the last times we see him. You know, it's one of those things. I don't know if how his body responds in the next 24 hours will help with that. But we have to wait and see.
He's been a big part of those first 2 games, too. He comes out, does what he does at the beginning of Game 1. I thought he was pretty good at the start of Game 2 as well in his first rotation.
Yeah, as soon as he checks in.
And now, we said going into this series, the good thing was with the other injury, you weren't going to come out and see him not moving well or just trying to gut through the minutes he's playing out there. It was about his confidence, his ability to actually believe in his health. And so he goes out there, hits those shots, believes in himself again. He's moving great. Awesome Game 1. Those plays were so huge. Now you're imagining a Porzingis who's out there, we compare it to OG Anunoby when he tried to play, just kind of making his way up and down.
Hopefully it's not that, because that didn't work.
And that's what I worry about.
Yeah.
Like, even if he does play, does he look like that? Because everybody's saying it's the pain. It's the ability to jump. It's the ability to even move laterally. He's going to get tested again here. They're going to try to go after him. They're going to try to make sure he can't even play out there. And who knows? This might be a case where he tests it out next game, tries, and it doesn't go well. And at that point, if you're without Porzingis for the rest of the series, I think there is some doubt in this series at this point. Like, he's that important in this one.
Well, my thing is there's always doubt, because this is an NBA Finals and it's a 2-0 lead. And it's, again, I've said this a million times today, I feel like, but Drew Holiday and Kyrie Irving have both overcome being down 0-2 in a final series. So of the 5 times it's happened, 2 times we have personnel in this particular matchup that have experienced it firsthand. And nothing, people are very confident right now in Boston. It's a 2-0 lead, but nothing's happened yet, right? Nobody's won on the road. It's still very early days. I think the thing with the Porzingis injury that it matters is that he is one of those guys that's like a release valve for the team offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And then defensively, he has so exceeded my expectations coming back from that soleus strain, the way that he's been able to impact Kyrie, the way that he's been, just the help defense.
The blocks,
you can see that he's deterring them as well, even when he's not actually like getting anything on the box score. One thing that's kind of weird to me is just the whole like way this injury was discussed. Like the fact that we all got an email with like a description of the very specific tendons that means absolutely nothing. Like, I feel like normally there's not that much clarity or like detail around what an injury is. I don't know. I don't really have a thought on it, but don't you guys feel like this is not normally how an injury would be communicated?
It's that rare of an injury.
Yeah, well, that's how rare it is. Yeah.
But why do you have to tell us? They don't always say like the exact specifics.
It's
a little unusual.
Yeah, I think it just goes to show that this is kind of a crazy injury. And it's serious, as Joe Mazzulla said. That's more detail than even Joe ever gives.
Yeah.
So I think probably it goes to show that the team is taking the utmost caution. And if Porzingis is going to put himself out there, it's going to be his choice. And that's not a good sign to me. Nothing about this is good. I don't think there's any situation here where you're going into Game 3 saying, whew, good thing Porzingis is ready to go. If he's available, it's going to be on a very limited basis in my mind. Yeah. And if he's not, it's Al, 40 minutes, Luke and X and Brissett and whatever you can get from those guys, and you're back to where you were for the playoffs before that. But in this matchup, I think that makes all the more impact when you see yourself going up against a Lively, see yourself going up against a Gafford. I know John was talking earlier about going super small again with Brissett, or maybe it's just Tatum at the 5. I don't think you can do that for very long in this series against those bigs.
It's not like the same matchup that we saw against the Pacers.
Yeah.
But I think that has a lot to do with the transparency, though. In terms of like what's going on exactly, in case he's not able.
And it kind of stinks now looking back on it that
know.
Joe said there's zero concern because.
As soon as Joe said there's zero concern, I was thinking he probably should not say that, because I don't think he even had a chance to talk to the medical staff at that point.
Yeah, but that's just sort of Joe. It's like his poker
So
face.
Today was flipping that around, right? The transparency, saying that we're taking it out of his hands.
This is a serious injury.
Serious,
Part of it to me feels, I mean, I don't want to speculate too much, but it feels a little bit like cover for him in case things don't go well. That They wanted to put it out there. This was a serious injury. I think that probably they figured out he was going to play, but they wanted to make sure that this is not one of those things where he comes out, he's like no longer effective, and it looks like, okay, Porzingis just like had one good game. They forced
him out there.
Like and like I think they want to be clear. He wants the narrative to be like, if he's out there, it's because he battled to be out there, which is true. I'm not saying that that's not legitimate,
that's
but
what he's been saying.
A little bit, I got that feeling from like just the way that all the media coverage today and the press release and all that. Maybe that's a part of it too, is to just provide some cover for him in case this doesn't work out.
And he did tell ESPN he expects to be out there. So I think odds do point in that direction. He's officially questionable for this game. We'll keep talking about the impact of this one, but I want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, Prize Picks, first and foremost, our official daily fantasy sports partner. Probably not picking more on Porzingis going into game 3, even if he's available. But maybe you go with Horford. Maybe you go with Tatum, who's going to be much more relied upon now at this point to generate offense for this team and take on that extra pressure that Dallas is throwing on him. We'll get to him in just a minute here. But Prize Picks is our official daily fantasy sports partner, and they're offering you a 100% deposit match up to $100 when you use our code CLNS. Just pick 2 players, pick more or less than their projections, points, assists, rebounds. You can even put players together from different leagues. It's a great part about Prize Picks. So go to CLNS, go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use that code CLNS. And game time, if you're here in Dallas, you're here for game 3, get tickets to that. That's great. But say the Celtics go up 3-0. Dallas fans might lose hope. They might just try to sell off those tickets, and it might be a big Celtics crowd down here. And that might be your opportunity to go and get some great deals for game 4 on game time. Use that code CLNS to get $20 off your first purchase over there. Terms apply. That's code CLNS on the Game Time app. So let's shift it over to Tatum, who hasn't shot well in this series. In fact, there was a list of players who've played in multiple NBA Finals, and I think he has the worst field goal percentage ever among players who've played in multiple at this point. Below 35%, I think, at this point from the field in both of his finals. It's been rough in the field. The passing's been great. He's been able to manipulate the defense in an effective way. But it's going to get even harder now with a limited Porzingis, with Dallas team playing with some desperation at this point. What are you expecting from Tatum with Porzingis potentially?
I'm expecting him to step up in a big, big way. I mean, this is just spot here. I mean, I'm not saying that as if like I'm disappointed in Tatum. I'm not one of those guys like the national media who's like, what's going on here? You're supposed to bring it to the big stage, supposed to be out there averaging 30. Like, no, he was doing what the team needed him to do, getting guys involved and executing and reading the defenses and doing things that Joe Mazzulla's been talking about all season long. Well, now that things get harder, if Kristaps Porzingis is unable to go out there, or he's very, very limited, this is when you step up. And if you want to go small, if that's something that Joe Mazzulla wants to do throughout stretches, I'm for that as well. Put Tatum in the forefront in the sense of being the 5, being the distributor, and also being the top scorer. I really wouldn't be surprised if we see a huge performance from Jason Tatum scoring-wise, if Kristaps is unable to go, or if he's just very, very limited.
Could you see Tatum at the 5?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he likes playing the 5. He's pretty much said that before. I don't think we're going to see that for extended stretches, but from a scoring standpoint, I'm with Josue. I would not be surprised at all if he has a big game tomorrow. Because honestly, ultimately, like, he has not been forced into difficult shots. He's getting the looks that he wants. He's getting open jumpers. He's missing easy layups. And I feel like there's this sentiment amongst like Celtics fans that he's been in a shooting slump for months now. He actually was pretty effective against Indiana. It was just that he didn't
One
win.
of the worst defenses in the league, though.
Yeah, but I don't think that it's the Dallas defense that's forced him into the missed shots that he's had. He's missed easy looks. I mean, there was a stretch there where he missed like 3 or 4 layups in a row. He's just not in a good rhythm right now. And I think he'll break out of it. I don't think this is indicative of like what he's capable of against this Dallas defense.
Well, we will see what Tatum is capable of tomorrow in Game 3 of the NBA Finals. Plenty more to talk about going into that game, but Porzingis, of course, the top concern. His injury right now, is he going to be available to play? What's he going to look like at that point? That's what we'll continue to keep an eye on up until tomorrow. He's officially questionable. Tatum going to try to turn it around in this series. Anything else you're kind of looking at as an X factor going into Game 3 other than Porzingis and Tatum?
I'm wondering how Drew will continue this streak going. I know that it was
Is he the Finals MVP
right now.
right
I want to say the NBA has him at the top right now, but it's really close and still early. But yeah, I want to see how he does. And Al, do we get another big performance from Al with the Porzingis news? This being the NBA Finals. I mean, to me, he's been so solid as the starting 5. And I don't think that's going to change, but I wonder if we have one of those games where he's just like, in the second half, starts to take things to another level. So I think those are things I'm really looking forward to.
Is Drew the MVP right now?
He might be. It's hard to give anybody outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown the MVP, considering how much attention and how much they're doing across the board.
I actually would give Tatum a little bit of leeway there.
Yeah, he said himself, like, I'm the beneficiary of Tatum's playmaking right now, and he was getting relatively easy looks. But yeah, whether it's Drew or whether it's Derek White, like, it's one of the tough things with this team is that it's so hard to predict who's going to step up. It's almost like pulling someone out of a hat because you have so many different options, and on any given night, it's a different person, right? So it's kind of anybody's guess who's going to step up tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised if Drew kept up he's in a great offensive rhythm, obviously. I think Derek White could be due for a big scoring night. He hasn't had one in a while. So really, it could be anybody. Yeah,
Jalen's been pretty consistent too, and he's right in the mix among the MVP candidates in this series right now. So Celtics, you got to win this one tomorrow. Whatever Porzingis' status is, if you go up 3-0 in this series, you're in a perfect position to put it away no matter how many games it takes after that. But if Dallas can steal that third, it's a series again, especially with Porzingis extremely limited, I would think, at this point, even if he's available. But again, we'll keep an eye on that. Want to give one more shout out to our sponsor, HelloFresh. Head over to HelloFresh right now. We're on the road, but I can't wait to get back and start getting those shipments of HelloFresh again. Pick your customizable options, whether it's fish, whether it's meat that you prefer, whether it's vegetarian or vegan. All those options are available over there on HelloFresh, and it comes right to your door, prepackaged, laid out instructions, ingredients packaged for you as well. And they're throwing in an appetizer right now, 1 per box for as long as you use HelloFresh. Just go to HelloFresh.com/gardenapps. That's HelloFresh.com/gardenapps. For Josue Pavon, Noah Delzell from Celtics blog. We're going to have continued coverage here all week from Dallas. Game 3 tomorrow night, so we'll see you over at the American Airlines Center. But that's it for now. Porzingis, questionable. We will see what happens there. And for now, I'm Bobby Manning. This has been a off-day edition of the Garden Report.
Josue Pavon here, CLNS Media. And if you made it this far, that means you really like this video. So hit subscribe. Make sure you keep our notifications on, damn it. And we got plenty of great content coming your way.